What a nice day out. Ooh-wee. I think the best part about not having a job is being able to wake up with a stress-free feeling because you don't have any kind of commitment. And you know the crazy thing is, it was all made possible starting with this simple $25. Ooh. Hey guys, my name is Lance and welcome to my channel, Work Hard to Be Lazy. And I'm sure based on the intro, you guys are all curious to know how $25 started my journey to financial stability. But first, I got a question for you guys. Have you met or know somebody who says they'd be able to save money if only they had more income? It sucks to say, but those people would never be able to. Do you know why? It's because they have a poverty mentality. I'm sure you guys might know Robert Kiyosaki, the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, one of the best selling finance and building wealth books out there. If you haven't already, you should definitely explore the book. He often talks about having a rich mindset versus having a poor mindset. You see, if you give a poor mindset money, they'll soon be poor again, but a rich mindset will always be able to obtain wealth even with no money. According to the National Endowment of Financial Education, about 70% of people who win the lottery or obtain a large sum of money go bankrupt within a few years. And you might be asking, how do you go bankrupt having millions of dollars? Some of you might be familiar with Parkinson and his first law, which states the amount of work expands to fill the time available for its completion. But Parkinson also had a second law, which states expenditures rises to meet income. You see, it doesn't matter about how much income you have, it's about how it's spent. Those people who say they can't save money because they don't have enough income will never be able to save money, especially if it's given to them on a silver platter. Being able to handle money is a skill that you have to practice. If you can't handle a small amount of money, you're not going to be able to handle a large amount of money. So let's get back to how $25 was the catalyst to my journey towards financial freedom. And just a quick disclosure, I am not rolling in the dough. I don't have Lambo money or anything like that. I just live a simple life where I don't have to stress about money, and it's all started with a simple $25. And you might be wondering what kind of monetary return could come from a $25 investment. It's nothing. You see, the $25 wasn't about making more money with it. It was actually learning how to live without. So back on April 29th of 2016, I decided to set up an auto transfer of $25 from my checking account to my savings account each month. Wow, I didn't realize that today, the day that I'm recording this, is exactly 5 years from that date. I only realized that after I looked up my bank statements. And I know some of you are thinking it's $25, it's no big deal, and you are correct. It is no big deal. But I also know that a lot of people out there don't save at all because they quote unquote don't have enough income. And just so you guys know, I didn't have a high paying job or anything like that. Not that you really need one to put away $25, but just to paint a more vivid picture and make it more relatable, I'll let you guys know that I was working as a server, making roughly $10 to $12 an hour on average. Like I said, definitely was not rolling in the dough or anything like that. I can't stress enough how difficult those first few months were. I know it was only $25, but it felt like I could hardly get by without that extra bit of cash each month. But it did get easier over time, and after a while, I didn't even really think about it. A little over a year later, on September 18th of 2017, I decided to increase it from $25 to $50 a month. That feeling of desperation of needing that little bit of extra cash to get you through each month did return, but it wasn't as bad this time. And trust me, it does get easier and easier over time. At the time of making the change, I had $734.48 in my savings account. Obviously, the majority of it was from the initial principal of $300, plus a few keep the change, a program that Bank of America has, or has, I don't know if they still do it or not. The monthly contribution of $25 over 17 months equated to $425. I know it's still nothing crazy, but you can definitely buy something nice with $425 as compared to $25. Somewhere along the line, I ended up opening an account with Navy Federal Credit Union because they have great benefits and I heard they're just overall really friendly. I also set up an auto transfer with my Navy Federal account, but this time of $100. This was around the time that I just transitioned to my new job at an insurance agency. Still, I believe I was started out making $12 an hour and it soon jumped up to $14 an hour. It was definitely a raise from what I was making before, but still, like I said, not Lambo money. Towards the end of November of 2018, I decided to increase my contribution from $100 to $200. I believe it was right after I got a raise from $12 an hour to $14 an hour. So definitely not anything crazy at all. So throughout 2019, I was doing really well at my job and I did get a couple raises. Nothing too crazy, usually in $2 increments, but I was very grateful because that's the bigger raise than I've been offered at other places. On August 9th, I decided to make Navy Federal my main bank instead of Bank of America, because I realized Bank of America was barely giving me any incentive to stay with them. Because look at the statement right here. For the entire year of 2019, up until that point, I earned 8 cents. 8 cents interest on my savings account. It sucks because I've been with them since my teen years. It was my first bank. But at this point, I was starting to take my finances more seriously and I realized that savings account is supposed to accrue way more interest than that. The APY at the bottom of my statement just made me realize that I was wasting my time and money with them. So like I said, on that day, I went into the bank, talked to the teller and told them I wanted to withdraw all my money except for the minimal to avoid the fees in straight cash. Apparently the teller couldn't do math because she messed up my funds somehow. Yeah, I know they're supposed to be good with money, but on June 19th, I made a massive decision. I decided to transfer $4,000 into my savings account. It was just sitting in my checkings account and I didn't want the temptation and end up spending it. I wanted to condition myself to live as though I was broke, even if I wasn't. And what's even crazier than that is within the month, I ended up depositing another $5,000 into my savings account. I believe around this time, I was making around $16 an hour. I initially deposited all that cash I got from Bank of America into my Navy Federal checking account, but I decided that I didn't need all that temptation sitting in my checkings account, so I actually transferred $10,000 into my savings. I usually prefer to keep between $1,000 and $5,000 in my checkings account. Anything over that, I think it's a little bit excessive. On October 17th, I had my fourth big transfer of $5,000. At this point, I was starting to get the rhythm of it. I tried to transfer $5,000 every 2 months. I believe at this point was when I truly started to feel okay with putting that kind of money away. It just didn't feel that devastating. If anything, I felt enjoyment seeing that number grow each time. In November, I did touch the funds a little bit to withdraw money to pay for my mom's property taxes. And to finish the year off, I made another big deposit because I wanted an even $30,000 in the account. For anybody wondering, I made about $30,000 to $35,000 at my job in 2019, and that is before taxes. Pretty much the entirety of my earned income went into my savings. I only lived off the money that I made from my side hustle, which I'll probably make a video of that a little down the line. Regardless, I continued the trend in 2020 of depositing $5,000 every 2 months into my savings account. June 22nd of 2020 was a big day for me. That was the day I put down a $10,000 deposit to put a house under contract. I remember at the beginning of 2019, I set a goal for myself to save up for a house. I just didn't imagine it was actually gonna happen in the course of a year and a half. After that $10,000 deposit, I decided to take a break from putting money into my savings. I wanted to be able to actively invest more now that I didn't have a reason to save as much. If I was smarter at the time, the one thing I would have changed is I would have liked to actively invest my money into something with a little liquidity. That way I can make my money work for me. And if I ever needed to, or once I needed to, I can just withdraw that money. On October 27th of 2020, I withdrew the rest of my down payment, signed on the dotted line, and boom, became a homeowner. It was a landmark moment for me and it felt so surreal. And thinking back through it all, I don't think I would have been able to achieve that if I didn't start with that simple $25. While it was a monumental chapter, the journey isn't over. This video wasn't about how I managed to buy a house in such a short period of time. It was to show that you need to take steps, sometimes many steps, on your journey. Remember, it's a marathon, you gotta pace yourself. I'm certainly not telling anyone they can 100x their savings after a year or two. I'm saying that you need to take that first step to build confidence just so you know that you can do it. And in the sake of money, that you can do without it. You can set aside money, no matter how small, to save towards something bigger. Save an amount that you're able to. It doesn't have to be $20 like me. I just felt comfortable with that number. Well, comfortable enough. The important thing is to start somewhere. And down the line, when you start to get comfortable with that number, and trust me, you will get comfortable, increase it, double it if you can. I promise you, if you do this, you'll be amazed of where you'll be in a few years. Don't worry about doing it in a certain time limit or hitting a certain number in your account. Even if it takes you a year or two before that first increase, you'll still see growth, not only in your bank account, but in yourself. This process isn't about making you filthy rich. It's about setting the foundation on your journey towards financial stability. As Bill Gates said, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Trust me, if you do this, the current you won't be able to recognize the you in 10 years. And with that being said, I appreciate you all watching. My name is Lance. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys all next time. Okay, cool, bye.